toughest one in the section. Fit the runner, boy, you nigga, no question. You would run a motherfucker high stepping. Hey, you never had a big enough weapon. Motherfucker never learned your lesson. I'm a 88 pack nigga, woof. I'm a 88 pack nigga, woof. I mean, day walker, drink blood, fangs out, full moon, motherfucker change like a hoe, nigga. I'm just a nigga from the hood, tryna stack a little cheddar for the money.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy. Lightweight. Lightweight, baby. Let's bleed this Sunday. Drew Titan Bronx on deck. Shout out to the mighty LDBC. Let's do this roll call real quick, because there's some things I want to cover. Mark Wonderlick in here 2 times. Salute. Chilltown Majors. Mrs. Shelton, Brooklyn Braun. Stephen X. Tay-Tay. Good afternoon, good evening. One and all, smash the like button, like and share the video. Dislike the video. You know, talk your stuff when it uploads, and do whatever it is you feel you need to do. Young Hollywood, salute. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. We had an interesting weekend in boxing, and I have some concerns. Derek Chisora was victorious. Shout out to him. The GOAT, Claressa Shields, victorious. Shout out to her. And I want to talk about is a machine out to get Bud and why I say that. Stormy B man in the building. Salute.
Yo, what's good?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah. First, let's talk about the 2 matches that we did watch. Shout out to Derek Chisora. I did a video on him. And shout out to the GOAT. I didn't do a video on her yet. You know, I'm very busy this weekend. But first, let's talk about Claressa Shields first. Your thoughts on her performance at heavyweight?
Well, what was interesting is the fact that, and I broke this down on my post-fight show. Claressa came out. We could obviously see the difference in her anatomy, having put on the additional weight and muscle, because it was definitely muscle and not fat. But I knew that skill-wise that she was a lot better than Joyce, and I knew that she could be faster, and you know, they were miles apart in the skill sets of being able to box. However, what was not accounted for was what we saw as the end result of the fight. And I attribute that to something that goes back to what has been the norm for her career. Claressa has campaigned in the middleweight divisions, 68, 60, 54, through 14 fights, and last night was her 15th professional fight. In those 14 fights, she had just 2 knockouts, which came early in her career. People made fun of her not being able to knock people out and stuff like that, saying she has no punching power. She could always punch, but it's something a little bit different when someone is punching with speed, punch placement with speed, and being prepared to move for whatever could be coming back, things of that nature. She has trained well and has become a master of that, to the degree that there was a change-up for last night's performance, but not just in her physical approach. But check this out. A couple years ago when she fought Savannah Marshall, Marshall had been known to be really banging women around at that 168-pound division. She was knocking people out, hurting them real bad. They had a couple of common opponents, and she banged them out like instead Clarissa may have really outclassed him, whereas Savannah was banging him out. Well, when they fought one another, Clarissa was faster, outworked Savannah, landed punches like 4-1 or 5-2. And she spoke of Savannah being very strong. Hit her one time and said she couldn't see for a while. But a little bit later, after the fight, and I'm not talking about the post-fight, it's later, Clarissa revealed something about Savannah that people didn't know. She said that after the weigh-in and the night that they fought, Clarissa rehydrated up about 8 or 9 pounds. But she revealed that Savannah rehydrated up about 20 pounds.
So I remember that.
So she was basically fighting a light heavyweight or cruiserweight at that time.
Yep. And nobody said anything, by the way.
Nobody said anything, but it made sense about why Savannah was having the success that she was having against the women that she was fighting at 168. And it made sense of what was happening to those women in the fights. Flash forward to last night when Clarissa weighed in at 174 plus, right under the light heavyweight division. And the opponent that she was fighting, Vanessa Gilnese, who had been as high as 230 plus pounds fighting in the women's division. But her last several fights, I think her last 3 fights before Clarissa, or last 2 fights before Clarissa, she's been a light heavyweight, 174, 170 something, When you saw what Clarissa did, who intentionally set down on her punches, you saw the residual effect.
Yeah.
But you saw the residual effect of Clarissa being a bigger woman too than she had been noted to be campaigning at the middleweight divisions. So in this instance, the size came into play because she's not a small woman, Clarissa.
Right.
She's not. For her size, weight, and her age, she's a full-bodied, stout woman. So has she been draining herself, fighting to compete with the names in the middleweight divisions? And now that she's where she could be really comfortable, this is what we could see from her. It makes all the sense in the world that what you're looking at, the sweet science of the sport, this woman can knock your freaking block off.
That's right.
And that's the story that has been shown and told to me after simple observation. Because see, I told you, I cover everybody. I cover everything. And I'm watching all the time. And if I hadn't paid attention to the Savannah Marshall byline story, I wouldn't be able to say what I'm saying right now.
That's right.
But because I do pay attention and I'm laying it out for you all to understand, this is why you need to stop listening to guys that are just waving pom-poms, talking about fighters and kissing their rear end and everything, but study up to what you're looking at. What she accomplished last night, she was comfortable. And it didn't take long, did it? It was like, bang, bang, hey, let's go to the after fight party. It was really that impressive. And when I saw her do what she did last night, it came to me like a ton of bricks. It was like, oh, this is why Savannah has been. I'm like, imagine if Clarissa had rehydrated up.
That's right.
Like Savannah did.
That's right.
It's a different fight.
Way different.
And not necessarily for Savannah. So as I'm looking at this, I'm very impressed. And John David Jackson, man, have we said enough about what he has done? He has been Dr. Frankenstein in the lab, with this wonderful fighter right here. You don't have to like her personality. You don't have to like the sound bites that come out of her mouth. But when we're talking about what she does professionally,
That's right.
she is definitely one of the best to come along in either the men or women's division of the sport.
Now stop right there. The highest accolade that I give people when I say things like roll out the red carpet to the Hall of Fame. For example, I said that about Miguel Cotto when he retired. Although he lost his last professional fight, I looked at the road travel, what he accomplished, even the fights that he lost. There was controversy behind those fights. And I said, you know something? There's more than one reason why a guy like Miguel Cotto, I'm cool if they put him in the Hall of Fame right now, especially if they have, and I say this respectfully, a guy like a Toro Gatti in there. Why not put Miguel Cotto in there? I'm talking about career-wise, accolades, things like that. Can we say that about Claressa Shields right now? Is that Hall of Fame, is her career Hall of Fame worthy right now as it stands?
Her career was Hall of Fame worthy when she won her first title professionally, and I think it was her third or fourth professional fight.
Fourth fight, yeah.
With 2 Olympic gold medals behind her, and accomplishing that in such a short period of time. Because remember, almost everybody she's fought professionally, she has fought world class. She hasn't fought mid-range fringe contenders and then some kind of contender. She fought world champions. Her first professional fight was against Franchon Cruz de Southern.
That's right.
Who does that?
Her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what I'm seeing here, definitely Hall of Fame. But what she did with last night's accomplishment, something I hadn't seen since Sugar Ray Leonard defeated Donnie Lalonde back in 88.
Yeah.
Or 89, I forget the year. But Sugar Ray Leonard took on, after defeating Marvin Hagler, he looked to slay more dragons. And he had an opportunity to win WBC 168-pound title, and also I forget what the sanctioning body, but a light heavyweight title by facing Donnie Lalonde. And with those 2 titles on the line, Ray Leonard fought Donnie Lalonde in a tough fight for him because Lalonde was a definite true light heavyweight. He even dropped Ray in that fight and gave him a cut. I think that was the first time Ray had been cut in a fight.
Right.
And it was like, whoa, it was a tough fight for him. And interestingly, Ray Leonard got on the scales for the Donnie Lalonde fight, and he had rolls of silver dollars in his sweatpants.
Yeah, I heard about
to help him make the weight.
Yeah.
But in a grueling fight, he took out Donnie Lalonde, knocked him out, and won 2 titles in one night, 2 different weight classes. The equivalent of what the GOAT did last night. Now, are you going to tell Sugar Ray Leonard that he's not Hall of Fame worthy and he won a gold medal as well? Absolutely not. But Clarissa's got him beat because she's got 2 gold medals, and she is 2 times undisputed and now 5-time world champion.
Yeah.
Amazing.
That's amazing stuff.
I am not hating on anything that she's accomplished. I'm giving her flowers, letting her know that, you know what, just keep pushing. Push that bar as far into the heavens as you can, because you get you give others something to shoot for.
True story. True story. And I see you, Hen Dog. I said Miguel Cotto for a reason. I'm gonna do a video on Miguel Cotto. There's a reason why I say that. When I factor in things about fighters, I tend to go beyond the accolades. I also look at the path that they traveled. For example, would we agree that Devin Haney's path that he traveled was more noble than Vasily Lomachenko? But meanwhile, who's celebrating? You understand? Miguel Cotto, for example, when I'm talking to our brother Hendog, Miguel Cotto has 2 losses on his record that shouldn't be there. The first one is Antonio Margarito, because I firmly believe he was cheated in that fight. The second one was Manny Pacquiao. Did y'all know that when he fought Manny Pacquiao, Miguel was the WBO champion, but he was made to come in at 145 on fight night because although he was the champion, Manny Pacquiao was the A side. Both fought for top rank under the WBO banner. You know what I mean? But he was made to come in drained, and that's part of the reason why he lost that fight. He wasn't physically healthy, but he did it because that's the business, and he said he would never do it again. And I think he'd have beat Miguel. I think Miguel would have beat Manny in a rematch because when Manny was in the process of ducking Floyd Mayweather, he looked towards Miguel Cotto for a rematch. Miguel said, I will fight you, but I'm not coming down to 147. I'm at 154, and I will fight you at 154. Manny Pacquiao said no. That's a true story. So I respect the road travel. These are things I factor in. And I think Miguel Cotto is one of those guys that was a victim of politics because he was under the top rank banner. Remember, he fought Margarito under the top rank banner, and Margarito tried to kill him in the ring. And then, not to be outdone, he gets in there as WBO champion, and Bob Arum makes. They say we want him coming in at 150. You're the 147-pound WBO champion. You're the welterweight champion. Why are you weight draining at 145? But he did it. And if he didn't do it, if he'd have said no to the Manny Pacquiao fight, they'd have called him a coward. They'd eventually stripped him. So that's the business that we don't talk about. So it's things like that that I factor in. And he was a professional. He was. So I respect Miguel Cotto. I was just using his name as an example. But long story short, Claressa Shields she's an all-time great. She's an all-time great. You never forget, she had to go to MMA because she couldn't find an opponent in boxing for a while. So this woman has, and I know she says some things that we don't agree with, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about
her ring accomplishments.
Her ring accomplishments, her career accomplishments. No boxer that's laced up right now has done what she's done. And this is also going to come into the point of the show. But let's pivot over to Derek Chisora. Man, that was a fun fight. And I compared this fight, and on my video, I stated, I didn't even speak about this fight. I wasn't talking about this fight. I wasn't amped about this fight until the day of. And I was in the gym, and I said, wait a minute. This isn't Academy Award winning movie. This was The Expendables. Let me get my nerd on for a minute. When The Expendables, when we knew that movie was being made, my friends and I said, you know what? In our age group, we got to run to the theaters and see this movie because it was the first time you're going to see your favorite action stars from the 80s and some from the 90s on one screen. And that was epic for fans. Nobody was getting Academy Award, those super duper films where you get academies and stuff. We knew what we was getting with that film franchise. We got 3 movies out of that. And if an actor from the 80s was in the first, he was in the second. He wasn't in the second and the first, he was in the third. So we knew we just wanted a basic plot and things blowing up. And heads popping off, and that's what we got. So that I knew what I was getting when Joyce versus Derek Chisora. I said, man, somebody may get knocked out, and it was a general idea that it was Derek Chisora. And it's like whenever they need to fill a spot or make some money in the heavyweight division, call up Del Boy, and he shows up. And one thing you will. You cannot deny is that Del Boy shows up and he is who he is. You can't say he's out of shape. That's just how he fights. and now he's 40 years old. But this guy comes up, he doesn't come up to lay down. And that's what I said in my video. He hasn't won all of his fights. But my goodness, there's a special place in boxing heaven. I didn't say Hall of Fame. I said there's a special place in boxing heaven for a guy like Derek Chisora. You run down his resume, he got some names on there. He didn't fight everybody, but in my opinion, he fought enough. I don't think his ribs is touching. He's one of those guys that's just not doing it for money. But when you ring his phone, he says, "Yeah, I'll do it." You know, and he doesn't come to lay down. And people thought that Joe Joyce was actually going to wear him down and catch up to him. I thought that, but it wasn't until like 3 or 4 hours before the fight I said, "You know what? I want to watch this," and I wasn't disappointed. Joe Joyce was Joe Joyce, Frankensteinish, very strong. Big dude. The trolling leading up to the fight was downright disrespectful, but that's what Derek Chisora does. The dude showed up, and when Stormy told me he did this, I had to go back and look at it. The dude showed up to the press conference with a Zilly Zhang mask on. I said, damn it, this dude, man. My gosh, man. And I said,
dude, that was so funny.
That was funny. I said, man, Joe gonna kick his ass, man. But he tried. But Derek showed true grit. Derek showed that he has somewhat of an IQ, a boxing IQ. And what skill set he had was enough to get him a win, man. He dropped Joe Joyce in the 9th round, man. And Joe Joyce, look, he is who he is. He's gonna get hit. His defense is horrible. But he's one of those dudes that if he lands on you, he's gonna hurt you. And Derek did enough not to get. He got landed on, but he did enough not to have that big one landed on him. And they got, you know, I always had that nervousness because when the bell rang, it was a 10-round fight, y'all. There was no belt involved. This was just a fan-friendly fight. And I said, man, if they raise Joe's hand, that's a robbery. And I said, man, I have a feeling I'll be talking about a robbery. But they got it right. Derek won. And I heard he told Frank Warren he has 2 more fights left. I think they have a deal amongst each other. But after that, man, you have to applaud that brother because he leaves it in the ring, man. And that's all you ask for with these guys. Now, where does Joe Joyce go from here? I don't know. There's always going to be a market for him because he's target practice. Either he's going to win or he's going to lose. You understand? But shout out to Derek Chisora, man. That was a fan-friendly fight. And he won. He won, man. Your thoughts on Chisora versus Joyce?
I think that Chisora, and you know, I've been one to call him L-Boy because he had put a ton of losses together.
Yeah.
Strung them in a row. But part of that is because I don't think he likes to train. I can't prove that, but I see certain things in his efforts that tell me that road work may not be a part of the curriculum. Eating what he wants to eat appears to be part of his curriculum.
Do you think he's untrainable, though? You think he's one of those guys?
No,
like James
no. I just believe that he's his own man in those aspects.
Mm-hmm.
And he could have been far more successful.
Mm.
And guess what? That's his Achilles. But we all have them. We all have our shortcomings.
Mm-hmm.
And what I can see with Chisora is that those things don't stop him from being Derek Chisora. In other words, he's the consummate blue-collar worker. when he signs a contract to fight, he's going to come and fight. And he's going to give you what he has on that night. Sometimes he might have a little bit more. Sometimes he might have a little bit less, or somewhere in between. But it's all due to the Achilles, the shortcomings. And he's fine with that. You can tell. He's fine with that, because I don't believe that winning a world title is going to make him a better man. But going out there and giving the effort that he does, win, lose, or draw, he's good with that. And guess what? That is more than almost 90% of the fighters in the sport. Because he's going to do that. He's going to give you what he has for as long as he can. And last night, I felt that he tapped out at the end of the first round. But he found ways to thrive and survive. And then when he really began to run on fumes, you saw him literally turn and run to get away from Joyce a little bit, because it wasn't that he was being cowardly. He was trying to suck in some oxygen and get himself together so he could, continue. And there was a point, I don't remember which round it was, but it was definitely before he dropped Joyce. He got hit with a left hook that buckled him.
Ooh, yeah.
And I was like, uh-oh. And even the ref was like right there.
Yeah, the ref was ready.
Looking to come. And he found some surge of energy and fought Joyce off of him, almost back toward the center of the ring, but he bought himself some time. That's a veteran. That's experience. That's a fighter who never says die. And that's what people love about the sport of boxing. You think that you might love this guy or that guy or whatever, but what you really love is seeing someone tap that reservoir of can-do spirit, warrior spirit, the aggression of I ain't going nowhere, that type of thing, because it's a most admirable quality when it's on display. When you're seeing that, that's what brings the heat. That's what makes you say, well, damn, that's special. I don't know if I could do that. You know what I'm saying? And that's what the consensus is when you see and witness those things. And Joyce is the absorbing man. He will take stuff and he'll be trying to dish it out. He's never trying to get out of the way of danger. He's always in the danger zone.
Yep.
And we love that about guys like this. This is why I talked about the fight and I said it's a good fight to watch, because it's going to be a fan favorite type match.
Right. That's right.
For those of you who are old enough and been around long enough, you go back to a previous era, we had a fight similar to that when it was Tim Witherspoon and Ray Mercer.
That's right.
Those two guys came out for a fight like that, and they gave as good as they got, and it was exciting. It was like rock'em sock'em robots. It was that kind of thing. And the Madison Square Garden, they were cheering for those dudes. And that's the most that you can ask when you're tuning in to watch a boxing match. And when guys are fighting like that, it don't matter about being the best in the world or being a world champion, or I'm a #1 contender trying to protect my position. It's about, drinking somebody under the table. You remember the movie Thor when he and what's his name, the Dr. Solvik, they were at the bar and they were talking about Jane and they were drinking and they start challenging each other with how much they could chug. And of course, nobody can drink Thor under the table, but Selvig was going for it, right? And then you saw later on Thor carrying Selvig back to the trailer, the truck, and he told Jane, he's a good man. He gave it all. He gave it his all. That's exactly what we're talking about with this boxing. These men, they gave what they had, and it was damn good fun. We don't always have to see a classic like Mayweather and Pacquiao or something like that. These fights will suffice.
Yeah.
But what you're seeing also is there's not a lot of these guys left. There's not a lot of them left.
That's right.
Because this is what you tune in to watch boxing for. How many times did you not know boxing was on and you happen to flip the stations and you see a match? It could be a couple of guys you never seen before, but they blending, they getting into the business, and you sit there and watch the whole thing
on Telemundo back in the day. Telemundo used to air their boxing program at the same time Friday Night Fights would air, and I would be flicking channels back and forth. I didn't understand the word on Telemundo, but man, they had some dudes on there scrapping, great, and I don't even remember their damn names. But I'm like, whoa, be crazy over there, man.
Yep,
man, you know. We don't see that anymore. So I don't even know much about the card there, because by the time I got home, it was on already. But that was a fan-friendly fight, and you know what I was listening to? The audience. And I say this all the time. I'll give the UK audience all the credit in the world. And I say this, and I stand on it. I wish the American boxing public loved boxing like the UK loves it, because they were into that fight. They were into that fight. With every punch landed, you heard them. Oh! I was like, yo, and that right there gets you amped. That gets you amped, and that's all we can ask for. And there's not that many guys lingering around like that. Exactly, Xavier. Jorge Paez was big on Telemundo. That's where I saw him. First time I saw Jorge was on Telemundo. Those guys had some. For those of you that don't know, Friday Night Fights on ESPN. The rival boxing program was on Telemundo, same time, and I would have to flick back and forth to watch those, and I didn't know who those Spanish guys were, but I saw some of the best boxing in fights. There'd be two dudes you never heard of in a 4-rounder, and as soon as that bell ring, they start in the middle, and they don't stop. Those little guys at strawweight, they're like wind-up dolls. Unlimited gas tank, and they boop, 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 boop. There'd be like 40 knockdowns in there. In a 4-rounder, man, that was crazy. And we're so spoiled right now. You just don't have that anymore. You just don't have it. It's just not there anymore. And this is why this sport has been on a slow decline. But you're going to turn around and it's just not going to be around anymore. And everyone's going to be like, well, what happened? Well, the American fan base, we have such ADD that we'll be over it in a week. We'll just start watching wrestling or something like that, something else. You know, I mean, my God, it's ridiculous. But shout out to Joyce and shout out to Derek Chisora, man. That brother, man, he's another dude. I wouldn't mind when the dust settles and he hangs it up. I wouldn't mind at all seeing him in the pay-per-view. You remember the first time I noticed Derek Chisora was against Vitaly Klitschko. I said, who's this brother with the Union Jack bandana on around his mouth? And he walked up in there. He just violated Vitaly, talked all the mess in the world. I'm like, uh-oh. And remember he got in the ring and he walked up to Vladimir and spit water right in his face. Yeah. I was like, yo.
Yeah, man.
What? What? Now, I got to imagine the only reason why Vladimir ain't hit him is because if I punch him in the face now, right here, there's not going to be any payday. But I'm like, yo, he couldn't have pushed him or something. That was crazy. I said, it's like, that was crazy. But the fact that he did that, I'm like, this dude gives 0 Fs. He doesn't care. And he didn't win the fight. And it was after that fight, David Haye walked up on him. Well, he walked up on the Klitschko's, but him and Derek got into it. Remember, he glossed me. Remember all of that? But he gives 0 Fs. He didn't care. And I said, damn, man, this dude, who is this guy? He didn't win every fight. David Hayes stopped him. Dillian White stopped him. But you know what's crazy, Stormy? How many people you heard say Derek need to hang it up? I never heard it. Never heard it. The way Dillian White knocked him out, I thought he was going to retire there. No one's ever said, hang it up, Derek, you're done. No one. So that's just a little confirmation that it's about who gets knocked out. Some people, they just want to see gone. You know what I mean? But shout out to Derek Chisora. So Chisora wins.
Let me say something else about that card last night with Chisora and Joyce. There was a fight that took place on the undercard of that where they had a couple of super featherweights in a 10-rounder. That was Ryan Garner and Archie Sharp. And that was a fight where these two men, dude, it was a rough fight. It was almost like a club fight, you know? But it was entertaining because Garner, who came out victorious, was in a situation where the taller, lankier Archie Sharp, he was a mover at first, but I knew he was going to get tired and slow down. So once he couldn't move like he did in the early rounds, he was holding and grappling and choking, and he was doing all these tactics. But Garner fought his way through it. But I was saying that if his corner would tell him, go to the body, because he was definitely head hunting, right? But he was doing whatever he could, but he was doing too much head hunting. But he ended up getting the decision. And I was like, I hope they don't rob this kid, because he fought hard. Garner did. Yeah. And Sharp was doing what he could try to do to survive. But it turned out to be one of those fights. But guess what? It was a featherweight version of Chisora and Joyce. It's that type of thing. That's why it was entertaining. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm trying to say, is that sometimes, you know, and these guys don't often make big bucks doing what they're doing, but they're putting out the same type of effort that maybe some of the guys who get paid the big bucks don't put out. But there should be some kind of special compensation for men who fight those rough fights like that, because, dude, that's what holds an audience. I'm telling you, it holds an audience. But yeah, I watched those two men, and I just kind of wanted to give them a shout out for the entertainment that they provided on that card last night.
I think, doesn't Turk Al Sheik give out bonuses or something? Did I hear that?
He possibly does. I don't know, but you know,
could have swore I heard some. I might be wrong. I could have swore I heard. I know Jake Paul.
These promoters could give out bonuses. They just don't, man, because they're such parasites and leeches, you know. But they could if they really chose to.
They chose to. So I want to pivot to Bud. Bud, amongst the main fighters that we follow. Bud is on top of the world right now. It's a real possibility that he can become undisputed at 154. That's a real conversation. He's not struggling or nothing like that. It's a real conversation. He could become undisputed at 154 when they have him in the same sentence as Canelo Alvarez, and Canelo fights at 168. And when you look at the landscape at 154, he definitely can do it. He could fight Tim Tszyu and beat him. He could fight Sebastian Fundora and he can beat him. He could beat anybody at 154. Jamel Charlo, because I heard he's talking about he's coming back. He already beat Errol Spence. You know what I mean? He can do these things. So it's a real possibility he can do that. Now, I don't care what anyone says. There is a machine out there that works against black fighters. Oh, Drew, here you go with the racist stuff. Yup. History proves me right. Emotion proves me. Your emotion still proves me right. The fact that you want to deny what I'm saying is going to prove me right. Domino the Dominant. Here he go. He says Bud hasn't fought anybody 154. Stormy, did I say it's a real possibility, or is it definite that he can become a champion at 154? I said it's a possibility. Did I not say that? That's what I said. I said it's a real possibility. Pay attention to detail, recruit. Pay attention to detail. I said it's a real possibility. Possibility. He can beat any. It's a possibility he can beat anyone at 154. Errol Spence hasn't fought anybody at 154.
Let me say this. Mm-hmm. And after this, I'm not giving him no more attention whatsoever. Mm-hmm. Bud hasn't fought anyone at 154 yet, right? And he's fighting this coming Saturday for the first time at 154. So what the fuck is your problem, dude? That you got to come in here and try to drop something like we don't know what the landscape is.
Oh my God.
You are listening to us. We're not listening to you. Don't come in here trying to explain, because you and I are not going to have a conversation. I said once I finish this comment, you're dead to me. Because it's people like you that we can't get ahead. You are one of those that try to shoot holes in whatever we do at any given time. Right now, the conversation, Drew was getting ready to start talking about Bud and something very serious regarding Bud. And here you come chiming in. And the reason that I've taken this position right here, because I want this brother, Drew, to do his thing. And we will eliminate what you have to say from this point. So don't even try. Because you can consider yourself, like I said, dead after this. Okay, this is his channel, but I don't know who you are and don't want to know who you are. Sit back, listen, let this man talk. You don't have to try to tell us what we already freaking know. We are the content creators bringing this information out here. Because believe it or not, a lot of people don't follow it like that. They follow when the fights are being made and everything, or they get the news from platforms like this. But when there are people that are interjecting like yourself and diverting and pulling us off course, where we have to be correcting and everything, it sets things back. There's a such thing called decorum. And some of you idiots need to learn it. And it doesn't matter if you're an older man or a younger man, because there are fools from the scale of birth to death. Go ahead, bro. I'm done with him.
Domino, I just need you to listen, bro. Okay? I just need you to listen. I just need you to listen. I'm not trying to argue with anybody over this. You know what? Moving forward, I'm not arguing. Listen, don't I always tell y'all this is boxing how I see it? I'm not trying to argue with nobody, because you know what? I know I'm right. What's the title of my show? That last part after the word victorious? What does it say, y'all? Can y'all do me a favor? After the word victorious in the title of my show, what does it say after the semicolon? Put it in the chat. What does it say? What does it say? It says what? Y'all see it? When I talk about a machine, what do you think? Now, this is amazing, bro. This is amazing. This is amazing. It was just last year, people were calling me a Bud hater. Just last year. And I had to clarify, I'm not a hater of Bud. I just didn't understand his business, his mind. I was thinking it in all the simplicity, because all I wanted was the fight. I wanted these brothers to fight. Now I need y'all to just pay attention. This is what I was saying. I said 60-40, which what Errol was offering Made sense because Errol was the draw. He got Dallas behind him, and Bud hasn't pushed the same numbers that Errol had. So I said 60-40 is generous, right? But what I didn't know, when Errol put out that tweet and said, I feel like I'm being played. And I said, what is he? I said, who's playing him? What's going on? And then the fight got made. And I said, yo, I said, wait a minute. They got quiet and fight got made. In the middle of that, Floyd Mayweather came in and said, that fight's not made until I announce it. And I said, wait a minute, what does he have to do with this? What does he have to do with this? And then that tweet came out. I feel like I'm being played. He wasn't talking about anybody from Bud's team. He was talking about Al Heyman. Like our brother, the War Report says, odd fella, what do you call those boys at the PBC? He has a slogan for them. And it's brilliant. And I said, hold on. We're not getting that. Errol wants to fight. Bud wants to fight. And then when Floyd came in and said the fight's not happening until I announce it, and I was like, well, he has nothing to do with this. He did. He did. But Errol stepped out and made the fight. And I said, oh my God. I owe Bud an apology. Because it was deeper than I thought. Now, true, Bud didn't articulate it well at all. That's why they tell you you could be accused of a crime and be totally correct. But lawyers tell you, don't try and defend yourself. We wouldn't recommend it because you could get tripped up. You can get tripped up by legal lingo. That's why they say don't defend yourself. Get a lawyer. Well, y'all remember when Bud went live on the Instagram and tried to explain it? I said, nah, this is a sinking ship. But he wasn't lying. And here's why I'm asking the question, y'all. Is the machine out to get Bud? We all know that Floyd and the PBC, they didn't want Errol in the ring with Bud, but that happened already. You saw how Errol ended up. That's fine. They were supposed to rematch at 154, right? It hasn't happened yet. He skipped the line. He's getting a Fundora fight, right? I don't like that, and I fucks with Errol. This man down over here. I don't agree with how that's rolling. I'm calling it how I see it. Right now, Bud is what we call, quote unquote, everything now. Undisputed at 140, undisputed at 147. All right. Now he's at 154. All right. And it's a possibility he can accomplish the same things at 154. I said possibility. All right. Is it not a possibility Errol could go to 154 and beat Fundora or beat anybody? It's a possibility. We won't know until the bell rings. But who's Bud facing? Bud is facing a guy I am completely uneducated about. I do know he looks like Gennady Golovkin, and that concerns me. You know why? Not because of skill set, but the machine. What do we know about the machine? And who's in the machine? The machine is an in crowd. Floyd's a part of that machine. Al Heyman is a part of that machine. Bud now is a marked man. So when I talk about this machine, I just bigged up two black fighters, Claressa Shields, Derek Chisora. Bud is a representation of who we are or who we're supposed to be in this sport. Bud hasn't sold out. Bud played chess to the best of his abilities, and since he got the dub over Errol and he's undisputed in 2 divisions, that's a W. That's a win for him. It's supposed to be a win for us. But here's what concerns me. he's a marked man. Because now Bud is talking. Y'all watch that interview he did with Andre Ward? Now Bud is talking. You hear what he said about what Shakur Stevenson needs to do? Did he not say he needs to what? Go the Devin Haney route? Oh my God.
Whoa!
What? That's what he said. He said that. I said that. I said, does Shakur have the cojones enough to do what he needs to do and be his own product? Gamble on himself. And by the way, this is why you don't burn bridges. Because if he's not surrounded by anybody that knows how to do it, maybe, I mean, you ducked the fight with Devin, but maybe if you didn't talk crazy about him and y'all still maintained the relationship, you could have hit Bill up and asked, hey, Bill, how do I do this? I want to do what you guys are doing. How do I do it? But you done burnt the bridge now. Is he not surrounded by anybody that can guide him to do what Bill and Dev has accomplished? You see what I'm talking about? And then you see what they tried to do to Bill and Dev. You see that. They cut down Bill every chance they get. And they try to rob Devin. Can Shakur deal with that? Or do you want to go back to top rank and be assimilated like the Borg and say, look, I'm not like everybody else. See, I'm waving the Puerto Rican flag. That didn't help when you're fighting a boring fight. The Puerto Ricans ain't come and say, man, you're not boring. You just have great footwork. They didn't say any of that, bro. They threw you under the bus. Y'all see why we say certain things? Do y'all understand that? Y'all understand why I had a problem with him waving that flag? I said he should have been doing that in the Olympics. This looks like a sucker play now. That's business right there. And I remember saying I wouldn't be surprised if Bob Arum told him to wave that flag. I wouldn't be surprised. But that's over now. But what I'm saying is Bud said Shakur should go that route. That's what he said. So now Bud is winning. He got belts to prove it. And now he's talking. That black man, that dark-skinned black man, they can't have that. They can't have that. You saw what they did to brother Deontay, right? What makes you think the machine is not looking at Bud like, okay, Bud better watch his water. Bud better only have wherever he goes, I hope he can afford a private jet so they don't lose your luggage. Bud better watch his meals. All right? Bud better have some superior drug testing. And if he ain't got to fight a PBC fighter, don't fight him. Because the red dots are all over Bud. All over him. They're going to try and get him. They're going to try and get him. Oh, Drew, why are you saying it's always about race, man? History proves me right. What makes you say that this is not going to happen? Tell me that. Tell me I'm lying about any of this stuff. Right now, on my Derek Chisora video, some dude, let me read to you exactly what this dude said. He said in the comment section, he said Derek Chisora. Wait, hold on. Let me go back here then. He said Derek Chisora. He referred to him. Let me read it to you. Because I didn't block him. Oh, that's funny. I can't see the damn. No. I can't see the comment because I asked him. Oh, he said, because I asked him in my video, I said, Derek Chisora has a special place in boxing heaven. This dude, Jack Dominiak, he says, no, he doesn't. He's a thug. He referred to him as a thug who managed to beat a fighter with zero defense in boxing skills. Pause. My only question to him, because I'm not gonna dispute anything he said about Joyce. You can think whatever. But wait a minute, sir. I asked him, what makes him a thug? And dude asked me this question 2 hours ago, so I responded an hour ago. What makes him a thug? Do y'all pay attention when people speak? He just called Derek Chisora a thug. I want to know what makes Derek Chisora a thug to him. What, the bandana Union Jack mask he waves? Wears as a mask? That time he spit water in Vladimir Klitschko's face? Or him and David Haye getting into a street fight? Or what? Why are you calling him a thug? You understand? Why he called that black man a thug? What's going on? Are y'all paying attention? There's certain words, certain slogans reserved for black fighters. Shakur pitched a shutout the other week, and the world called him boring. I enjoyed watching him hit and not get hit. I enjoyed it. But what did ESPN do? Show people leaving. That term boring, name one white fighter that was referred to as boring. Name one. And don't tell me there's never been one. Name one. Name them. Are y'all watching boxing or are y'all watching boxing? The Machine. Is the Machine out to get Bud? That brother's winning. And now they got him in the ring with some dude from Who Gives an Ethics Stand. He looks like Triple G. He's a naturally bigger guy. So what? If he goes in there and gets knocked around, or it's a harder fight than we think, then what? All of a sudden, what? I know what comes with that. Oh, he's overrated after being 2 times undisputed. He's overrated. See, I knew he was overrated. Let me pivot to an article that Stormy brought to my attention from Box News 24. And this is the reason why I'm asking this question this evening. There was an article written about Bud by a fella by the name of Chris Williams.
And I did share that in the chat too. So it's in there so they can go look on it. But please do talk about it.
Yeah. Matter of fact, I'm gonna pull it up actually. I need to know if you people, what do you mean you people? You people, I need to know if you guys are paying attention. Let me say this. Do you guys hold on. Okay. Get out of here. Do you guys remember me? Yeah, we're not even gonna do that. You know what I'm talking about. Y'all remember when I read this article from Boxing News 24? In that article, this dude was talking about Devin Haney. And I'm reading this article and I'm like, okay. And he says, in order for Devin Haney to reach the upper echelon of superstardom, he has to fight these fighters. He said Sandor Martin. I said, I didn't know that he was a draw for Devin to be beaten on to become a superstar, but whatever. You know, I guess. He said Subriel Matias. I said, okay, well, Bill came to the Strong House and said, I want to beat that guy. We want to fight that guy. Okay. We're still waiting for that phone call from Team Matias, by the way. Remember when I said it was the longest week in the world? Still never contacted Bill, but whatever. But then the dude said he has to fight Bud Crawford. He had to fight Errol Spence. And a couple of other dudes that wasn't even in his division. And then he said David Benavidez. So then at that point, I said, who is this guy? Now, I don't know if it was Chris Williams, but I remember reading that on my morning live stream. And I said, wait a minute, Devin got to fight all these guys just to scratch the surface to be a superstar in the sport? You put him in the ring with guys that are super middleweights? I think Canelo was on that list. I said, Devin got to do all of that? And then I said, oh, this is a Tank Davis D-blowing camouflage. He camouflaged his D-blowing. In order for Devin to be a superstar like Tank, he got to fight several people, including David Benavidez, who fights at 168. And I read that here. You know, what? And see, articles are written like that, and you'll get a fly-by-night casual fan that'll read that and take that boxing person's opinion as gold, come to our YouTube channels and try and argue us down. And we're like, what? Where do you get that from? It's weird. Like I remember having a debate in my at my old job. And there was a bunch of dudes in there that a bunch of know-nothings, but I was the boxing guy in there, I guess. And every time that was close to a Floyd Mayweather fight, they'd run to me. He's gonna lose this time. He's gonna lose this time. Oh, he's gonna get it now. And I'm like, okay. And then they get into, oh, Floyd couldn't have survived in the 80s. I said, well, based off of what? And some of the stuff, oh, he wouldn't have beat Sugar Ray Leonard. We don't know that. He wouldn't have beat Tommy Hearns. We don't know that. He wouldn't even fought those guys. We don't know that. We don't know that. It's a good fantasy matches. That's what makes them fun. They're fantasy. But if you want to say what if they fought, then you can say that. But that's your opinion. Oh, he'd have never fought Marvin Hagler. I said, you're right. He said, my boy was like, yeah, you know that. He'd have ducked him. I said, no. He wouldn't have ducked Hagler. They would have never fought. Oh, because you know he's a duck. I said, no, they never fought. Do you know why? Oh, because he's a coward. I said, no. I said, let me ask you a question. What weight did Marvin fight at? They had to think for a minute. One dude had to go to his cell phone. I couldn't believe this. And these are the guys that argue with us. I said, let me help you. He fought at 160, middleweight. Yeah. And I said, when did Floyd Mayweather ever fight at 160? They would have never fought. Marvin wasn't budging off of 160. Floyd would not have gone up to 160 to fight him. Period.
Triple G wouldn't even accept a challenge from Andre Ward.
Right, and see, and I met Stormy, and I was in the middle of all of that. I said, where was this smoke when Andre Ward called out Triple G and the boxing public said, Andre, shut up. You're trying to bully the smaller guy, but why don't you go up and fight the killer, KK Kovalev? Y'all remember this stuff? And you see, you know, it was strange, but typical. Ask me the ethnicity of the people arguing me about Floyd, but not getting on Gennady Golovkin's helmet. They were all black. They were all black. So this is what I'm saying, y'all. You gotta listen. And I'm talking to the brother Domino, the Dominant. You gotta listen, brother. I'm going to make a point. Errol Spence ain't have one fight at 154 yet either. But he comes right in to get a title shot instead of running it back.
And coming in off of a loss.
And coming off of a loss, he's getting a title
Fighting
shot.
for a title. That's some Vasil Lomachenko type mess right there.
That's the business. And I fucks with Errol. But this is the business. How many times y'all heard me say, I understand the business of boxing, but you cannot make me like it. Was that fair, y'all? Was that fair? I mean, honestly. Now, I understand.
Why can't Deontay Wilder get a title shot coming off of a loss?
Now, I understand. Errol is in a position that he can pretty much do what he wants. He told Bud, I don't do lines. True. True. Am I mad at him? No, exercise. Listen, flex, bro. Flex. I'm all about nepotism, and especially when black people flex it. I'm all about nepotism. He's connected with some people, and they say, look, it's more. Look, and it's further proof. Errol has more belts now, and you know he has a huge accolade. He beat the man that beat all those men. That's cool. That's cool. But as supporters of the sport, I wanted to see him run it back. He said, I was weight drained at 47. Okay. 54. He was going to give you a rematch at 54. And we're not even getting that yet. But you want to jump in the ring with Fundora? I understand the business, but you can't make me like it. I understand it, but you can't make me like it. So now with all of that happening in our face, I'm looking at Bud. There's concern. I gave you the Floyd Mayweather analogy for a reason. I don't deal with Floyd, but in that atmosphere, I had a bunch of black dudes in my locker room at work that wanted to see him lose. And I didn't understand that. I said, what's wrong with y'all? Who he wouldn't fight in the 80s. That whole time, I said, yo, what are your thoughts on Andre Ward and Gennady Golovkin? They looked at me like I was talking Gennady Golovkin's language. I said, Gennady Golovkin. And then when he caught a little fire, yo, man, what you think about him? Domino, it's all good. It's all good. Yo, what you think about Canelo versus Triple G? I said, I don't like Triple G. And there's nothing that Triple G did personally, but my beef with Triple G is the same beef I had with Lomachenko. Same beef I had with Tyson Fury. These guys don't need my support because they have a red carpet rolled out for them. I don't need to support them because I already know what they're going to do. Bob Arum told us already Lomachenko was the best thing he's seen since Muhammad Ali and Sugar Ray Leonard. And then he messed around and lost his second pro fight. How the hell did he get a title shot in his third? Where have you seen this for any black fighter? Where have you seen that? But then fast forward a couple of decades later, about a decade later, Shakur is boring? What? What are you talking about? Bob Arum told us the amount of money he lost on Bud, he could have bought a house in Beverly Hills. Meanwhile, he's a promoter. But then when asked, hey, Bob, why didn't you push the Manny Pacquiao-Bud Crawford fight? His exact words were, because I know how that fight ends. Manny's such a nice guy. What? Yeah, I know how it ends. He's a nice guy. Bud literally mops the floor at Manny Pacquiao. So he stopped. He said he killed. Those exact words. I killed the fight. That's what he said, y'all. And I'm listening to that like, yo, wait a minute. Does he think he's using his inside voice and just speaking out loud? Was he supposed to? But you know what it is? Brothers and sisters, these guys just don't care no more. You know why? Because they understand that there's too much disarray with black fight fans. Y'all give Lomachenko life by calling him the Matrix. Y'all don't point out he lost his second pro fight, but y'all gonna call Shakur boring. Shakur was on Top Rank. He was trying to get the Loma fight. Nothing happened. I did a clickbait live stream, and the title was Lomachenko's the A-side. Y'all not saying it. Y'all know I did it last week. And I had people arguing with me. I said, y'all don't get the sarcasm? Are y'all listening to me, or did y'all just pop up? Lomachenko got y'all jumping like he's the A-side, y'all. How dare he say, I don't want to fight Tank. I'm not in the mood. Why is he talking like he's undisputed and he's undefeated? What? Shakur undefeated, Tank undefeated, Devin undefeated, and he beat him. But when he beat him, what did y'all Negroes do? Yo, Devin really lost. I'm just going to keep it boxing. What did Shakur do? He snake-eyed him and said, I thought Loma really won. And then you duck Devin, and now look. Look at you now. Look. Don't I tell y'all time reveals all truth? And now your big brother Bud is like, yo, you need to go the Devin Haney route. Do you have the balls to do that, Shakur? I already told y'all. I'm just watching it play out. This machine is not for black people. Floyd Mayweather sold his soul. Andre Ward, that thing with Kovalev, it's strange. Don't bully Gennady Golovkin. They use the term bullying. Even when I pointed out to these fools, I said, Gennady openly ducked Golovkin. He said, I'm going to go to 168 to fight Chavez Jr. Ward chased him away from that idea twice. He said, if you coming up here, you coming up to fight the best in the division. It ain't no Chavez Jr. And when Elie Seckbeck asked him, he said, You know, yes, Ward, he's a good boy, you know, but, you know, he's too much for me, you know, not today. And if you read the comment section, there was people in the comment section saying, oh, his English is bad. He didn't mean that. No, we heard what he said. You know why? How could I believe what you say when you see what you do? That's like, yo, you's a sucker. You's a sucker. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I go to the fight and I see you. I look right at you. You don't do nothing. There it is. How could I believe what you say when I see what you do? They do that to us all the time. Oh, I'm going to do this. I'm going to see you at the fight. I'm going to do this and I'm that. And they got their chest poked out on their internet channels. And then we at the fight. Where you at? Don't see you. See? Time reveals all truth, don't it? Ward chased Triple G. He made his behind stay at 160. As a matter of fact, by the time Triple G went to 168, he fought Canelo a third time. He made sure he poked his head around. He poked his head into the room. The 168 room and said, is Ward retired? He's retired? You sure? He no come back? Okay, I come in room now. That's what he did. But they told Ward, you're trying to bully Triple G. But they wanted him to go up to fight KK Kovalev. And he did. He beat him twice. And Ward said, you know what? I'm getting out this. I already know what they finna do to me. And he got out the game. And now he's sitting down talking to Bud. And Bud is speaking freely about... Bud knows what's going on. But before he spills too many beans, he's a marked man. Ain't no racism in boxing. Oshaki's getting his rematch. But they want to make sure they gave him an L in the worst possible way. In the worst possible way. And that's what they do to us. That's what they do. That's why I tell you fools, even if you feel you blickety blacks, you power blacks, you black power, fight the power ass dudes. I told y'all, even if your heart of hearts, if you felt Devin lost to Loma, you were supposed to shut up. You were supposed to you should have remained silent. Because that's the last dude you want to stand in the pocket for. BFTB was on the ground over there. They went up to him and said, you only rooted for Devin because he's black. Meanwhile, it's a whole bunch of white people waving a Ukrainian flag. So who was you rooting for Lomachenko? You was rooting for Lomachenko. Why? Why? Let me get rid of this troll. Thank you for the view. Make another account. Come back. I know you want to floss your teeth with the pubes, but you can't. It's reserved for your mama. You know, so shout out to Miguel.
Hi, Miguel! Miguel!
For allowing the trolls to come through. And every time I start talking about race and I'm right, here come the trolls. You know, and Miguel ain't gonna do nothing. Miguel's waiting for me to fly off the hinges and start F-bombing and everything else, but you can't do nothing with your rainbow flag over your futon, with your pierced nipple rings, with your boyfriend laying in between your legs, and I just want to see what you Titans talking about today. He talking about racism. Let me send some bots in there. Let me get him cursing so I can zap his stream.
Hi, Miguel! Miguel!
Ain't gonna get me, Miguel, but I got you, babe. I got you, babe. I got you, babe.
Hi, Miguel! Miguel!
Right in the poop chute, right, Miguel? You just slid right down Skid Row, the Hershey Highway. I mean, those drawers, you got boo-boo stains in the back and the front. And you do it proudly over there in San Francisco somewhere. I see you. Don't worry, sometime this week I'm going to talk about Canelo and I'm going to talk about Ryan, and you're going to be tuned in. It's going to be 2 hours of me slaying them, and I'm not going to break one rule. Then I'm going to see what you're going to do.
Hi, Miguel! Miguel!
By the way, Miguel watches me, you know, oiled up, butt naked, and he just fondles himself.
Whack, jack, smack.
I mean, he just bruises his private parts up.
Whack, jack, smack.
I mean, he's just shaking dice to Drew Titan.
Whack, jack, smack.
The Flash with one arm. Boxing, please. So all you blickety blacks, are we on code? Are we rooting for Bud? Are we telling him to be careful? I never said I hated Bud. I didn't understand this business. I said, damn, just take the 60-40. You remember that? Did I ever say Bud was trash? No, I said I understand it. But then after Errol started tweeting, I said, hold on, what's happening here? You see, part of being an adult is admitting when you messed up. When Errol put out that tweet, I said, hold on, what's he talking about? Then we found out that those brothers was trying to make the fight. And then here comes Floyd Mayweather. The fight ain't... See, Floyd, he's another person that he's so arrogant, his inside voice is now his outside voice, and he's getting away with it because no one's holding him accountable. Oh, well, Floyd got money, you know what I'm saying? He ain't hating on nobody. Yeah, all right. You sure he got money? He was held up in Dubai for what exactly? And don't look now. What are all these clown fights about? The gentleman did a really good video about that, didn't he? Manny Pacquiao in a clown fight, Floyd in a clown fight. Do they owe someone money? I'm just curious. He's very busy in retirement. Why are all these other fighters leaving him? Why are all these fighters leaving? He has a good stable of dudes that just say he want to do. Matter of fact, didn't Shakur say, they asked him, man, why you go to Top Rank? Why didn't you go to Floyd? And what did he say? It seemed like a lot of talk over there. I said, why would he say that? I wonder. I ain't like him going to Top Rank. Now you see why. But I wonder. But the route for Shakur to go, maybe I'll talk about Shakur tomorrow. Because what you guys don't realize, when I just lose it on these black fighters, is because their behavior becomes unbecoming. And they just are all off code. They are all off code. And they don't understand that there's a bigger picture, and that at the end of the day, all of you guys are food for the machine. Let me step down off my soapbox. Stormy, your thoughts, bro? Are you on mute? Wait, hold on.
Yeah, my fault. I had muted myself. Yeah, you cooking so good. I don't know what to say about it, but you know, these situations where we can see, like, if you're talking about what Floyd has been doing, hey, listen, Floyd has been tampering. You know, in the NFL, they got that thing that they talk about, tampering. When guys are going to be free agents and coaches might want to leave and go somewhere else for a different opportunity or whatever.
Yeah.
There's like stipulations in place to guard against that, where you can't negotiate or talk to someone before ties have been severed and stuff like that. There's nothing like that in boxing, really. Where promoters, they know and they talk to each other behind the scenes. 78 did a great video on that. You know, and then we recently saw the interview that Bud and Andre Ward did, where they talked about that. So the thing about it is, there doesn't seem to be anybody in place that can hold or uphold integrity for the fighters, especially if the fighter is like inexperienced. You know, guys go pro, they sign a contract. When that contract comes up to an end, they may have fought a certain amount of fights or something. Maybe even a title may have come across their way, but there's still nothing in place to help them prepare for the business of boxing going forward. Turning pro, getting a contract That's great. But what you do in the next phase, the next step, there doesn't seem to be much of a learning curve for that for fighters. And they can fall into certain pitfalls that are detrimental to their growth, to their opportunities. And people like Floyd, Oscar, Bernard, they don't help. It's almost like it's every man for himself.
Right. Man.
And you heard me say this about boxing being a brotherhood.
Yeah.
One of the things about being a part of this so-called brotherhood is that it's still Masonic to a certain degree.
Mm-hmm.
And there are certain aspects where you have to walk your own plank. People are frozen out, which we don't like to use that term. It happens.
Yep.
People are set up. It happens. But all you have to do is look at the familiar names and faces that go along with what's happening in the sport. Floyd is out there. You know, Floyd is now what, almost 50 years old?
Yeah.
But he's still getting in the ring with people.
Go figure that.
He supposedly has been one of the richest, if not the richest fighter in the history of boxing. But is that really true? Because he still has to get in there and dance for somebody. And when I say dance, I ain't talking about dancing boxing. I'm talking about buck dance. Yeah. He is doing it not on his own accord, no matter what you may think. And usually,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And that usually happens when someone has given up something of themselves, sold themselves out, and sold themselves short.
Say it again, bro.
Yeah, that happens. When you compromise ethics and virtues, this is what can happen to you. In that world that they exist in, people lose their lives. And sometimes it be made to look like an accident.
Uh-huh. Plane fall out the sky.
Yep. And I'm just saying, it's like we see it all the time. It's all around us. But again, we are living in a matrix where people, they're more inclined to believe a lie than they are the truth. And that's why we get people that'll come in here and make little comments and stuff, get themselves blocked. They're trying to distract. But it's funny how if you are out there in one of those areas or spaces where people are talking real nasty toward other classes of people, other ethnicities of people, all of that stuff is permitted. It's allowed.
It's allowed. It's allowed by Miguel.
¡Ay, Miguel! ¡Miguel!
Miguel allows it.
All I can tell them is get you a nice thick towel, put it between your teeth, and when Miguel get a hold of you, bite hard.
¡Ay, Miguel! ¡Miguel!
He gonna rip you a new one. Yeah. Let me ask y'all a question. Do y'all, you know what? I'm gonna put emphasis on that in another show. I know I'm gonna have to. Let me ask y'all a question. Do y'all think the industry of sports, basketball, football, hockey, soccer, boxing, do y'all think is that much different than the music or movie industry? You know what I'm talking about? Y'all know favors for flavors kind of thing. It's like, man, how does this dude keep getting work like this? Yo, how did this dude, get this contract? How's this dude always in these movies? How's this dude, It could be a number of things. That might be somebody's nephew, brother, or so, I talked about nepotism. I'm not going to rip LeBron James for getting his son on not only in the league but on his team. He's in a position of power. Exercise it. I ain't got no beef with that. I heard there were several players better than Bronny that could have went to the league. Listen, those are the breaks. This is real life. I'm sure that they wish they had fathers in positions of power to get them into the league. I'm sure. But that's just not how it goes. LeBron would be a sucker if he didn't get his son into the league at least. Do y'all think boxing is any different from the music or movie industry? We've all heard stories. Right here in this chat, y'all might know people that was the next, next great NBA player or at least bench rider. Let me ask y'all in the chat, how many people you know that was good at something? Acting, sports, and they were right there, and then next thing you know, they just got a regular job. And you're like, what happened? And they really don't want to talk about it. It's like, I was right there. Yeah, but you went and tried out, and you said the tryout went good, and next thing you know, you're home. I know several people, and a majority of them are from the music industry. And you know why? They're not bouncing around on some stage and rapping or singing. You want to know why? And I ain't going to say no names. They didn't sell themselves. Is that a broken wrist?
¡Ay, Miguel! ¡Miguel!
Y'all didn't hear Rachel when she was on here? She said, man, these mid-card fighters, it's amazing what they start talking about when they get a little drink in them. Literally have to tell them, oh, stop talking now. Stop. Tears down their face. What they had to do. What do you do when your mortgage is due or your rent? You got kids in school. Your wife's not working. You have a day job, but you're behind on the bills. Your credit score, your middle score is a 312. And they say, you're a good fighter. We can get you on the mid card and you can make 50 racks tomorrow. Well, in 3 months, 50 racks. And we can give you 25 up front just to get you out. Oh, that's great, man. Finally, someone's seeing my skill. Yeah, but listen. So-and-so at D Blowing Promotions? Yeah. He got a fishing trip coming up. I don't fish. That mid card, that 50 racks, yeah. You want it? Yeah. You want the 25 up front? I can wire it to you today. Well, yeah. You fish, my boy. I don't understand. You fish, my boy.
¡Ay, Miguel! ¡Miguel!
I don't understand. No, wait. Come here. Let me tell you in your ear. Back rubs, foot rubs, baby oil. Now, either you're going to continue working at Walmart as a floor manager, or you're going to get that quick 50 racks. And if y'all think that don't happen, you're crazy. Sugar Ray Leonard was molested when he was an Olympian. He talks about it in his book. Sugar Ray. There's another reason why Ryan Garcia, I said his name, Miguel, I said his name, but Ryan Garcia said he went through something. He's crazy, but I do believe somebody touched that kid. I do believe that. That I believe. Who did it? I don't know. Did his father ever deny? Listen to this, y'all. You know why I believe someone touched him? They justify everything he does, but no one has ever addressed that to his parents. Yo, man, look. Somebody said that they played, your son said that somebody played with his backside. They never said, yo, he's making it up. That's the narcotics talking. That never happened. Did his father ever say that never happened? They don't even address that. And old media don't even ask it. They just say, ignore him. He's young. Somebody done touched that kid. No one did? Prove me wrong. I'm going for what he said. Is he a liar? Yeah. But this nervous breakdown, all of this stuff, there's something else going on. We said the same thing about Adrian Broner. We suspected that. Whatever. But my point is, what makes you think that don't happen in boxing? I said all of that to say this. Why is Floyd Mayweather Jr. so quiet now? How did he become a part of the in crowd? Why was Bernard Hopkins so quiet when the racist emails came out from Golden Boy? It was deeper than him just being a part of Golden Boy. Do y'all know Bernard Hopkins' humble beginnings? Him not getting the shine that he felt he deserved? An undefeated a win streak all these years at middleweight? Maybe he was tired of busting his behind. So he decided to let someone bust on his behind. Oh my God.
¡Ay, Miguel! ¡Miguel!
Why was he so quiet during those? There's a lot of black people in the boxing world that are quiet on certain things, and I don't understand what's going on. Or do I? Or do I? Y'all think I'll be playing when I throw that around? I'm not really calling you out your name. I'm calling you what you are, on how you behave. If you're part of that broken wrist, fine. Yo, listen. Why y'all acting like y'all don't know? It's like that on jobs. You get to work. It's like, I've been working here for 2 years. Never late. Never took a day off. How this chick just start last month and she in the boss's office just doing paperwork? Ain't that much paperwork in the world. How is she in there? Why every time she leave his office, she wiping his mouth? We know what time it is. What makes you think that don't go on in boxing? What makes you think that? What makes you think that? So when I said those things about how Tank moves up this ladder, he was buddy with Floyd. I was like, this is a little suspect. When I told y'all, I don't like that little boy, because to me, Tank's a little boy, doing these videos, bouncing around in his underwear. I don't like that. I feel like someone told him to do that. Now I'm gonna put something together for y'all. And this went right over y'all head.
Al Heyman.
Bro, listen. We heard some stuff about Al Heyman. I heard some stuff about Al Heyman from a dude that spoke to him. But whatever. But here's what I'm saying. I'm not sure he decided to do those videos. He had 2 videos when he was in his underwear dancing. I'm like, grown men don't do that. I don't care if we're in this era of trolling and all this stuff. Grown men don't do that, right? I said, I wouldn't be surprised if someone said, hey, man, you should do a TikTok short, you dancing and slapping yourself on the chest and behind. I don't want to do that. Well, I don't know. You might want to. Why? Well, next time your plane crash, you might not walk away. Whoa! Go! Am I reaching, or did Tank not have a plane skid off the damn road? Y'all remember that? Did y'all forget about that? Did y'all forget about that? There was a little plane crash. It didn't take off. I think it skidded off the road, though. Now, y'all think I'm reaching. I promise you I'm not. When I talk about the machine, you ever heard of this thing? We've seen it in movies. You heard it in the movies. You'll never work in this town again. Do you know what that statement says? Okay, you're telling me no, but I'm so connected that you won't be able to get work anywhere. Because I know this guy, that guy. Don't we say that about that 24 karat community in Hollywood? They run everything. That's what we heard, right? So if one movie company says, okay, I don't want to work with this guy, all they gotta do is pick up the phone and call their cousins somewhere, or their friends, or someone from the broken wrist community over there. Oh yeah, make sure when this guy comes, nope, Because he's not coming. So when he comes to you, shut the door in his face. Now let me go back to my original question. How many people do y'all know that was on the brink of doing something great, going to the NBA, the NFL, singing, boxing, and then it just stopped? I know several people, especially in the music industry. I'm like, yo, shorty, what happened? You was singing background for this R&B singer, and you have a whole demo or a whole album put together already, but you just wait for someone to back it financially. And shorty just broke down and told me, she says, look, I went up in the such and such label and everything was fine. And they had outfits laid out for me and I was on cloud 9 and then I had a meeting. And what happened in that meeting? And the whole meeting was in code and it didn't dawn on her until 10 minutes into the conversation. Shorty, we're telling you, we can make you a star and if you sign this contract, but those cheeks you're sitting on at that table, those baby making hips, we want to get behind you. And she said right there in the office, she said they didn't even want to buy me a drink. And it was multiple dudes. They wanted to. And she's a Christian woman. And she said, you know what? No, thank you. She got up and left it. And they said, if you do this, don't think you could take your demo and go to this label and that label because we're all connected. And he wasn't lying. And now she works for the Department of Sanitation. Makes a good living. But we could have been walking around singing her song. But because she didn't give up her booty. So when I look at Tank and I say, man, the ultimate marketing scheme. I can't gauge this young man. He hasn't put it in. His resume is not as good at 135 as the other guys. And I'm not saying he can't fight. I'm just saying he's benefited from marketing. What's going on? And what's going on with those videos of him dancing in his underwear? And what's going on with his plane skidding off the road? What's going on with that? What's going on with him and Adrian Broner at a club and Adrian Broner trying to kiss him on his mouth? What's up with that? What's up with that? What's up with that? What's up with that? Y'all think I'm ODing? Okay. All right. All right. Where's Amir Imam? There's a name you haven't heard in a long time. What happened to him? Do I need to get Randall Bailey back on the show and ask him, yo, man, he was on here. He said, I'd rather work a 9 to 5 than deal with boxing. Really? He wasn't a bum. Why is that? Why did he get on my live stream and start crapping on Al Heyman? I had to hit him with the monkey video. But maybe there was certain things that I did not know. Because I be in protection mode of a lot of black fighters until they do something stupid to the point where I can't protect them anymore, that I can't justify, like Tank. So I said all that to say this. Is the machine out to get Bud? Bud is definitely not the type to be booty clapping in somebody's office. In fact, he did it his way. The accolades that he's achieved is by his own work. He played chess and it so happened to work out for him. And he's telling Andre Ward, another guy that got away from the system, he's telling Andre Ward, Shakur need to go the Devin Haney route. So now he done bigged up Devin Haney. Blasphemy. Blasphemy. He said it, not us. Haters. So now what? Bud is on their radar, y'all. So y'all better pay attention to this brother's fight next week. He's on the radar, man. Check the water, check the food, check the transportation. Y'all think I'm just talking. All right. You ain't gonna call me a liar. What you got on that, Stormy?
You better check the people that's around him too.
Damn right.
Don't forget that part. That's a very important aspect of it. Because just like when people were laughing about Deontay Wilder saying that he felt like he needed to make some changes in his camp, and it began with getting rid of Mark Breland.
Yep.
Hey, people were ridiculing him for that. But where's Mark Breland working presently?
Exactly. Where he been?
Who he working for? Think
Sold
about
out.
it. See, these are the kind of things that, the stories are there. And then remember, when someone like Rachel Donaire, who's about as close to the sport as you can get, and who's married into someone involved into the sport, if you don't want to listen to people like that, delete yourself, because you can't get more proper than that, being right on, spot on than that.
That's right.
People who were victimized during the 9/11 situation, anyone that's still around today that could tell you a story, why would you ridicule them? Why would you say, oh, you just, why would you? And this is a person who's survived and lived through something that could share some information. But see, this is where we are in this present age, that people don't want to listen to sound counsel. That's been a subject that I've been talking about a lot as of late, because it's apparent across the board.
Yep.
Across the board. You just shared that situation regarding the woman who was going for an opportunity in music. There are doors that could be opened to you for you, but you have to open other things. And that's not always a good thing.
No.
It's not. It's not always a good thing, man. And a desperate person might be willing to try anything once. That's why when somebody says everybody has a price, no, they don't. Everybody doesn't have a price. But that softens the blow for themselves when they can say something like that.
That's right.
I don't have a price. I work inside of my framework. It's you know what? I'm good. You want a little more gravy? You want a little more sauce? Very minimum, please. In fact, no sauce. That's how I'm gonna work. You know what I'm saying?
Good. No sauce, thank you.
Yeah. Matter of fact, vegan. It's like no meat.
No meat.
Miguel.
¡Ay, Miguel! ¡Miguel!
So you gotta hold tight, man. Oh, that's wrong terminology. Anyway.
Yeah,
But
they
you get my drift. It's like, listen, when we say what we say, there are people who can get it, and there are people who gonna get it, and there are people who should get it, and people who ain't. So you just got to figure out what lane you're in, and the lane that you might be in might be the wrong lane, because when you get up there close enough to where you can see what's happening and it look like somebody's going over a cliff, you're in the wrong lane. If you in that one that you see where it's like veering off curve to the right or to the left, you're in the wrong lane. If you're in the one where it looks like things are looking up and going up, you might be in the right spot. Yeah. To be determined.
Well, I tell you, bro, it's a shame that what's common knowledge to us, the generations a couple of decades behind us is they don't pick it up as game. The atmosphere, the atmosphere that we're in, they tell them to brush it off. They tell them to call us haters. That's the terminology.
Mm-hmm.
So they're incapable of grasping what they're saying because they have such an infatuation with whoever it is. They can't fathom what we're saying. It's impossible. And I'm telling you, it's not. There's things that I see kids doing today. For instance, in the 90s, an artist like Sexy Red couldn't exist on this worldwide level, and it has nothing to do with social media. In the 90s, we had Adina Howard, who had a hit album, but she only went but so far. We had a chick called not a chick. It was a group called Bees with Problems. And there was another girl that there was another group of girls that were being very profane and glorifying smut culture, but it was short-lived. But my point is, all those women that do that with that, and that's their gimmick. Now Adina Howard, she's a grandma now. She got salt and pepper hair, and what's her legacy? A freak like me. That's her legacy. Are you kidding? Are you kidding? Look at Little Kim now. She looks like a monster doll from the Chucky movie. It's sad. And what happened to Bees with Problems? What happened to them? It was a gimmick. In 20 years from now, are we going to be rejoicing and reminiscing about Sukiyana and Sexy Red? No, we're going to be talking about how they were a black eye to our community and how did this slip through the cracks. I'll tell you how. When we didn't address it. How the hell did we get from Lauryn Hill to that? I don't know how that happened.
By the way, Lauryn Hill didn't go as far as she could have gone because she had principles.
She had principles, and she would not walk around with a thought. And trust me, she had the body to do it, but she would not sacrifice herself like that. That album, The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, oh my God, that's a classic album.
And they will have you think, because it's part of what they do, that someone like that is crazy or might be having mental issues or something like that because they did not go along with the program.
That, Stormy, spot on. Y'all know, do y'all remember how they tried to bury that woman? Every still shot that you saw of her on TV was her singing, but it made her face look crazy, and it would zoom in on her. Oh, she was married to one of Bob Marley's sons, and he knocked up and left her, and it made it seem like she was a train wreck. Now, she was a victim of a lot of circumstance, but how come we didn't tell the old media, yo, shut up and get off our sister's bumper? She had tax problems. You know why those tax problems went away? The artist formerly known as Prince quietly paid off her IRS debt, and it was in the millions, from what I heard. Might have been less, I don't know, I don't remember. But he quietly paid it off. But then she just went in obscurity. She just stopped doing music. And then when she would have appearances, they say she showed up late. They stayed trying to drag her. But they get these hood chicks named Sukiyana and Sexy Red and put them on Front Street. So never mind Lauryn Hill. But look at this. Look at what we put in front of y'all. See what I mean? Now, what makes you think the music industry isn't any different from boxing? Everything we told you is true. Salute, Kano. Kano's the one that says, man, those commissions be in the locker room. They're supposed to be checking, hand wraps, and they on their cell phones. They're not paying attention to what they're supposed to pay attention to. So when we say, yo, Deontay Wilder, the gloves were in check against Fury. The hand wraps wasn't checked. And then you get Mauricio Suleiman coming on a YouTube channel saying it's impossible for him to have cheated because I was in both locker rooms. And then when I asked him, did you see the hand wraps? The man said no. I thought you was in both locker rooms. You said that to say that the cheating was impossible because you was in both locker rooms. Then you get on here and told Fred at the barbershop, when I asked you, did you see the hand wraps? No. Did you see who put on the gloves? No. So, but what did you just say in the article? The guy's lying. He's playing in your face and y'all just right over the head. Why? Because a black champion who isn't even supposed to be this far in the deep in the business of boxing. His career, Deontay Wilder, was under-promised and he overachieved. And he tricked a lot of you Negroes into talking crazy about him. All of a sudden, y'all love boxers. Y'all don't like knockouts. After 2 decades of saying, we don't like Floyd because Floyd don't knock anybody out. Enter Deontay Wilder, a light frame in the heavyweight division. Now all of a sudden, y'all like boxers? These folks got you Negroes well-trained. Well-trained. And all I'm saying is, I'm asking, is the machine out to get Bud? I'm going to tell you yes. All of you Negroes that think you're in the in crowd, Tank just illed out with Floyd, and now Floyd's quiet. And now Lomachenko's saying, I don't need to fight Tank. I don't feel like it. And y'all went more crazy on Devin than y'all are on Lomachenko. Y'all don't even want Lomachenko. You know why y'all don't want Lomachenko to fight Tank? Because Tank fans really think Lomachenko has a chance. Not my problem. You know what y'all don't want to deal with? What if Tank gets in there and loses to Loma? It goes around 12 and Loma gets the nod. And let's say it's a robbery. And I'm watching the fight. I said, nah, Tank won easily 7 rounds. Easy. But they still give it to Loma. Y'all know not to come to my channel and gripe. Y'all know not to do that. You think I'm a drag Tank? I'm done with that. All I'm saying at this point is, look, see, told you. Didn't I tell you this is going to happen? I told you. It's going to be one long stream of I told you. I told you they were going to get this kid. He's beefing with Floyd. Floyd's a part of the machine. He's a part of the machine. What you mean? Somebody at corporate at the PBC is not going to get no more booty slapping shorts from Tank? They were buck breaking that kid. When are y'all going to understand this? And now he thinks he can do it himself. I'm Tank. All I need is my fans, and I just need to knock people out. Okay, young man. Okay. Don't go fight Esau Cruz in a rematch at 140 after you didn't break bread with Devin at 140. Don't do that, bro. You see it? You see the corner he painted himself in? But I don't want to get off all onto that. When will y'all realize that everything I talk about these fighters, these young black ones, it was from a place of concern? Y'all don't want to hear it. You want to call me a hater? Fine. I'm your Huckleberry. Call me whatever. But the machine is strong. Bud needs to be careful because now he's acting as if he's his own man. He is his own man. He has accolades to prove it. Do you think they want him being undisputed at 154? Watch this. Do you think that they want him beating Canelo?
¡Ay, Miguel! ¡Miguel!
Something that he could definitely do. They're the same size. In fact, Bud got a bigger reach. And guess what? Didn't Freddie Roach say, man, we didn't want to fight Bud because of the Floyd Mayweather effect? Meaning that he was a superior boxer, but Bud will go for it. Bud's a killer. That's why they didn't want that Manny Pacquiao-Bud fight. What do you think Canelo's thinking? Ain't gonna come down to that weight. Canelo could come in at 168 and rehydrate to 170. Bud will come in at 160 and come in on fight night at 160 and outbox Canelo. Why we act like we ain't never seen Canelo get? Come on, bro. Bud is on the brink of doing something super duper. If he becomes undisputed at 154, skips 160, and beats Canelo, even though Canelo ain't got all the belts, the point is he had him. Do you know what Bud's on the brink of doing? That's why I said, do you think they want a dark-skinned black man from Nebraska achieving all of this? No. No. It's time to get on code, y'all. But, you know, whatever. Y'all do what y'all want to do. I know what I see. Closing thoughts, Stormy.
Every day is a battle when it comes to the sport of boxing. And you have to pick the fights like you pick fruit at the market. The one battle and fight that you can always fight the good fight for is justice. Justice for the fighter, justice for the sport that you profess to love, and justice that they can come out taken care of in an appropriate manner. As long as you want to display favoritism, overshadowing what's important at the end of the day for personal selfish means and needs, you can be disappointed. I have found aspects of the sport to really sink my teeth into and love because the seediness of the sport is enough to make someone who has a certain level of intelligence to walk away.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons why I don't talk about the dramas outside of the ring, foolishness, purses, who's being promoted by who, and things of that nature. I talk about the health and welfare of the fighters, the necessity for them to be appropriately compensated, fighters being matched up with quality type fights that can show them improving, and to put on the type of fights that you like to see. That's the realm of which I operate, and I have found ways to enjoy the sport by clinging heavily to that. Anything outside of that, you can find some trouble, as well as anything outside of life. That's why the comment and quote that Clint Eastwood once made in one of his films, "A man's got to know his limitations," is so important. If you have no idea what your limitations are, you may need to do some self-checking, self-observation. But it is gluttonous to be out there and think that you want to be a part of everything and be involved in everything, because you're going to lose the most important thing, and that's yourself. So with that being said, those are my thoughts. I dropped the link in the chat. What my channel is Stormy B Man. That's Stormy B Man in all caps. But when you come around there, just understand that there is no cap.
You know, salute to y'all. You need to understand that we I say this, and it's no longer a joke. We have a love for the sport that doesn't love us back. And I'm not the go along to get along kind of person. The good part about the internet, social media, is that everybody could do it, but that's also the bad part. And I wouldn't be who I am if I didn't speak my gripes, you know. And there's a way to do it. And shout out to the Audacity podcast. I really appreciate you. And there's a way that you can do it without being profane. And my approach is going to be a lot more calm in dealing with certain things. I learned a valuable lesson as of 2 weeks ago, and I'm grateful. It's called Failing Forward. So I'll be back on Drew Titan LLC probably around the 2nd or 3rd of August. You know what I'm saying?
But it ain't like your brother, the sensei, been trying to tell you so.
He's damn right. Damn right. So there's been an awakening. And yeah, Young Hollywood Pep Talk and Noise tomorrow. Do not miss it. And
by the way, the Noise is a members only episode tomorrow. So some of y'all gonna be looking through the tinted glass trying to figure out, well, what's happening. You see, this is why you gotta support. Hey, listen, knowledge is not free. It's not. It comes at the expense of paying attention. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes paying attention could be the most expensive thing in the world.
Exactly.
You know.
So
but,
Noise tomorrow. It's the phenomenon that is the Black Panther, and we're gonna do that members only show. If you want to become a member to the channel, it's very easy to do. It's not expensive, but understand, the members are true members. They are people that support tried and true. No foolishness. Foolishness takes a ride on the tip of my steel toe Timbs. Understand that every day, all day. It's just what it is. And it be like that.
Straight like that. So salute to everybody in the Venmo, the Zelle, the Cash App, the Super Chat, man. Like I said, I'll be back on my boxing channel. Let me see. Probably about Friday or Saturday. Who knows? But that's all good. But I'll be back here in the morning talking some boxing and Noise on Culture tomorrow and Pep Talk tomorrow. And we do this out of our unconditional love for the sport, but we don't have to remain silent on the foolishness. And in order for them to understand who we are as fans and what we're going to put up with and what we're not going to put up with, y'all so quick to talk about holding your vote and not going to the polls. How about not buying these stupid fights? That's how we make them go away. By not supporting them and supporting the people that do deserve it. You understand? So I ain't gonna talk y'all to death, man. Salute to y'all. And y'all take it gently. We catch you on the rebound.
Move!
Why are you gay?
Who says I'm gay?
You are gay.
¡Ah! ¡Ay, Miguel! ¡Miguel!